Okay, so you're bundled up, getting ready for winter, and the last thing you want is, well, a nasty flu knocking you down. But don't worry, we've got you. We're doing a deep dive on flu prevention today, and not just the usual stuff, We're going beyond just washing your hands. We're gonna like really equip you with ways to outsmart those pesky viruses.
We're going to get into those evidence-based strategies that you can actually use. I'm actually really excited to share some of these. They might surprise you, especially when we talk about how our our everyday choices affect our body's defenses.
Ooh, intrigue. Okay, I'm intrigued. So it's bigger than just like avoiding germs. It's like making our bodies unwelcome places for them to be in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's about building what I like to call biological resistance. Instead of just, dodging the flu, we're making it so those viruses don't even have a chance. And it starts with this, understanding that flu prevention, it's not just for flu season.
Yeah.
It's year round.
Okay, I love that. It's like sustainable habits, not just freaking out when you hear someone cough. So where do we even start building this biological resistance?
You got to start with the MVP, right? The flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into all the reasons it's so important, let's look at the bigger picture of immunity for a sec.
Yeah.
Your immune system isn't like set in stone. It changes and adapts to whatever's going on around it.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like, do you have immunity or not? It's like how well your defenses are working at any given time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a muscle, right? You have to keep exercising it. And a tired muscle, one that's overworked,
Yeah.
way more likely to get injured. Same thing with your immune system.
Yeah.
If it's run down, it's easier to get infections, including the flu.
So how do we give our immune systems the care they deserve all year round? We've all heard get enough sleep, but like what's the science behind it?
Well, when you don't sleep enough,
Yeah.
your body it produces fewer of those infection-fighting cells, T cells, they're called.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. Lack of sleep can like increase inflammation everywhere, and that just creates a welcoming environment for viruses.
Wow. See, I never put that together before. I'm guessing good hydration is important too,
So
right?
totally, staying hydrated.
Yeah.
It's like giving your immune system, some water. Lets those cells move around, do their job, fight off those invaders.
It's wild how such small things can have such a big impact. Yeah.
Totally. And just like we need nutritious food to give us energy, right? Well, our immune systems need the right nutrients too. Antioxidants, zinc, vitamin C and D.
It's like building a fortress, but with like vitamins.
Exactly. And here's something that might surprise you. Sunlight, or actually vitamin D. It's crucial for that fortress.
Okay, yeah, vitamin D is important, sure. But like how does that actually play into flea prevention?
So vitamin D, it helps to control your immune cells,
Yeah.
how active they are. And in the winter, with, less sunlight, shorter days, our bodies, they might not make enough on their own. So when your vitamin D levels drop, so does your ability to fight off infections, which, of course, makes you more likely to get the flu.
Okay, that I is surprising, making a note of that. So, along with the sleep and the hydration and eating all the good stuff, getting some sunshine, that's key, especially, as the days get shorter. But even with all that, we can't avoid germs completely, right? Which I guess is where the hygiene habits come in.
Yeah, can't exactly live in a bubble,
Yeah.
but you can be smart about it. Control how you react to those inevitable germ encounters, and that's where those basic hygiene things, the ones we all kind of forget about sometimes, they become your first line of defense.
Totally. But there's so much information out there, it's easy to get overwhelmed. So let's talk about the stuff that actually like makes a difference. Okay? We've all been told to wash your hands a million times. But is anyone really standing there for a full 20 seconds? Like, really?
It seems like such a small thing, right?
Yeah.
But those 20 seconds, they matter. It's not that the soap needs that long to work. It's more about the act of washing itself. Think of it like scrubbing a dirty pan, right? And a quick rinse isn't going to get all the gunk off. You need time to really scrub.
Yeah.
To get those tiny little virus particles off your skin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But what about all the other stuff we're touching all day? Do we need to be like disinfecting every single surface?
You don't have to go crazy, but being smart about what you disinfect, that can make a difference. Instead of, trying to sanitize your entire life, focus on those high-touch surfaces, the ones those viruses, love to hang out on.
Okay, so prioritize the germ hotspots. What are some examples?
Doorknobs, light switches, your phone, your keyboard, basically anything you're touching constantly and when you're out. Be mindful of those too, like Elevator buttons, shopping cart handles, even, the credit card reader at checkout.
These are great tips. It's like, be mindful, not terrified. Speaking of mindful, what about humidifiers? Are those legit or like an old wives' tale?
Oh, they're legit. Remember that fortress we were talking about? Well, your respiratory system, it's part of that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And the mucous membranes in your nose and throat, those are like the moat protecting your
Okay,
castle.
I'm into this analogy. Keep going.
Dry hair, it's like draining that moat, right? It dries out those membranes, creates like little cracks in your defenses. But a humidifier, it puts that moisture back into the air, keeps those membranes healthy, makes it easier for them to trap those viruses.
So it's not just about comfort. It's like creating an environment where those viruses can't really thrive. This is all really great. We've covered so much from like building up our immune systems to all these hygiene practices, but we can't wrap up without talking about the big one, right?
You're talking about the flu vaccine.
Yeah. It comes with a lot of questions, and honestly, sometimes it's just confusing, so let's break it down. Like, why is it so important? Especially because it seems like there's something new every year.
You're right, it can feel like a moving target. But that just shows how much work goes into understanding this virus and, how to fight it. Let's get into those questions and, give you the info you need.
All right, we're back. Ready to tackle those flu vaccine questions you sent us?
And I am ready to break it all down, in a way that actually makes sense. No medical jargon here.
Exactly. So let's start with the one I know is on everyone's mind.
Hmm.
Why a new flu shot every year? It's like, we just got the last one.
Right, I hear you. But the flu virus is sneaky. It's changing all the time, mutating. And that makes it, well, a moving target for our immune systems.
Okay, so it's not like those childhood vaccines, the ones where like you get it once and you're good to go.
Nope, not quite. See, those vaccines, they target viruses that are, well, pretty stable. But the flu, it's like a chameleon, changing its colors, always trying to trick our immune systems.
Okay, so how do they even make a vaccine then, if it's always changing, I mean?
It's actually really interesting. All over the world, scientists track different flu strains. They try to predict which ones will be like the biggest troublemakers in the coming flu season.
So they're like flu detectives, trying to stay one step ahead.
Exactly. And sometimes they're right on the money. And sometimes, well, the virus throws them a curveball. That's why, sometimes the flu shot is more effective than others.
That makes a lot of sense. So even if you get the shot, you could still get sick.
It's possible. But here's the thing. Even if you do get the flu after getting vaccinated, it's usually way less intense.
So like, you might feel a little yucky, but it's not the end of the world.
Right. It's like you have a backup generator if the power goes out.
Right.
You might be in the dark for a little bit, but it's not total blackout.
Perfect analogy. And it's not just about protecting ourselves either, right?
Absolutely. When you get vaccinated, you're also helping protect everyone around you, especially the folks who are more vulnerable, like little kids, older adults, anyone with other health issues.
That's a good point. It's like a community effort. So yeah, the flu shot's not just about a few sniffles. It could be a really big deal.
Exactly. Now, can I address something I know a lot of people worry about? Side effects.
Please do. We got a ton of questions about that.
So most of the time, side effects are really mild. Like your arm might be sore where you got the shot, maybe a low-grade fever, some muscle aches, but that's usually about it.
And that usually goes away pretty quickly.
Yep, within a day or two, usually. Nothing like having the actual flu.
That's good to know. So it seems like for most people, the benefits far outweigh the risks.
100%. But as always, if you have any doubts, talk to your doctor. They can give you the best advice for your specific situation.
Wow, we covered a lot today. It's like I feel like we've been on a whole journey.
We have. We really dug into how to strengthen our defenses from the inside out and how even small choices can make a big difference when it comes to the flu.
Right. And I know it's like a lot of information, but it's not about being perfect, right? It's about taking charge. So as we kind of wrap things up, what are the top 3 things we want our listeners to remember?
Good question. I think first, it's that whole year-round thing, right? Flu prevention, it's not just for flu season. It's like an investment in your health long term.
Yeah, totally. And number 2, we're ditching the whole germophobia thing, but we are going to be smart about hygiene. No need to go crazy, but being aware of those high-touch spots, washing your hands, all that stuff makes a difference.
Big time.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we cracked the code on the flu vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Why it's different every year, how well it works, even talk about side effects.
Exactly. Knowing your stuff, that's super important when it comes to your health. Okay, so we're sending you all out there armed with all this knowledge, but here's a question for you to think about. How are you going to use what you learned? What's one small change you can make that'll make a difference for you and your family this winter?
I love that because it all comes down to taking action, right? Those little steps,
Yeah.
those habits, that's how we build a healthier life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Stay healthy out there, everyone.